Right. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. Else, please let me know. All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, Kavarav, Nicole, and Ian, and Grilled Cheese, and everyone else. Yeah, this was our last time. I think everybody remembers this. White had played knight f4. Why did I play that? Why knight f4? Hello, Jess. Hi again. Hi, Panda. New user, Advik Mac. All right. So anyone, tell me just in the chat, if I just play any move like b5, no, don't tell me in the chat anymore. Tell me instead in the quiz, all right? What was the Ponomariov's problem here? What did White play? Let's see if we understand what White had coming up here. Yeah, this was the last time. Yeah, everybody remembers this. Perfect. We have 1,000 winners here. For instance, Santos, Viz, RKDK, Aircat, Jazz, Shooting Stars, Lily, Sharat, Grilled Cheese, Freya, Panda, Phineas, Titan, Yegna, Not Anyone You Know, Ians, Pop Fisher, Advik. Good work, Advik. It's your first time here, right? You instantly made it. Nicole, Dada, Apple, and Karavav. All right, Karavav, you were the last one, so you'll have the opportunity to show us. Yeah, I saw it was in the chat, so... White had played knight f4, black played b5. This was strategically good move, trying to undermine the d5 pawn. But what did White play here, Kavarov? Sorry, I missed student. Aha, d6. So this was his nice point here, cutting off the defense of the knight. And when black took on d6, White was ready to take on e5. Why was it so important then to play the move knight f4? Yeah, we talked about this also, right? There was a reason why they played knight f4. If we hadn't played that, well, in that exactly RKDK, in that case, black could have played at this stage queen c6, threatening mate on g2, which is not the case here, since Rachmanov played this very strong move, simple move knight f4. And we spent some time on finding the best move for black here. But there were multiple moves here. Anyone remembers? Any move for, you can just, this time, just write in the chat, yeah. Any reasonable move? Knight c6, for instance. If we play knight c6, instantly we remove this whole idea with d6. So, okay, they can take, but maybe it's not the end of the world. And we talked about this extremely subtle move, rook c8, point, we protect the queen, and then there were some complex variations that we checked last time. In any case, we can agree that either of these two moves is better than what happened in the game. Ponomaryov simply forgot in this blitz game that d6 was coming. He did not see through the threat, or he did not ask the question, why did my opponent play this or that move? All right, time to continue. I have many of these examples. Yeah, so we'll see how many sessions we do. I hope you like this topic. I like it quite a lot. I think it's a very useful topic. So let's bring on the next one here. Let's see. So you just joined, Sarthak. Okay, great at you. You like it, Freya? Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Very practical, I think. It comes up a lot in practice. All right, these players are maybe not that famous, but the example is very interesting. Black played at this stage, knight takes b3. Yeah, you can say it's a strange position. Now it's a complex game, you would say. White is more active, but then the queen has to defend the knight and so on. Yeah, strange position. Anyway, I'll show you what I had in mind here. So at this point, black played the move queen a7. Aha, asking the question too. Black played queen a7. Anyone, you can write in the chat, what might be black's threat if we ask ourselves the question, what is black trying to do? Okay, so queen takes f2, everybody's saying. Is that the main threat? I won't answer that. Maybe it's not the main threat, right? Queen takes f2. I'll leave it for you to think about it. Is that the main threat? Should we just defend with rook d2, for instance? Or should we do something else? All right, tricky exercise. Don't say I didn't warn you. This is a tricky one. Let's see if someone can figure out how white should play here in order to defend. It's only two moves, but they are quite difficult. I'll give you 1 minute, all right? So what might be the second threat apart from playing queen takes f2? Sui Random, wow, so fast, incredible. Sui Random has a tactical vision that the rest of us would like to have also. Wow, that's just amazing. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, something happens when black plays queen a7. We will talk about this a little later. So this and tricky and grilled cheese, I can't tell you right now what I would play because I'll destroy the fun for anyone else. Let's say the f2 pawn is not the only target in white's camp, all right? Something else is going on here also. Some of you want to play rook e3. I know what I will play against that. So Yegna and Shooting Stars, I think you're very close. Yeah, I wonder what I would play on that. Interesting. I can give you half a point. If you played queen before, 95. Can you play that? Anyway, we had only one winner, so we should ask Sui who got it right. Show us, please, Sui. How would you continue here with the white pieces? Queen h4. Okay, we're defending against this threat. If we defend in some other way, let's say we play rook d2. Anyone? What was black trying to do here? What was the real threat? The real threat was not queen takes f2. The real threat was something else, right? Exactly, Rohan, you're right, and Ayans and Nicole and Jazz and so on. This was the threat. Silly question from me. Silly question from me. Then why didn't black play it instantly? Answer from you? Why not? Isn't that winning instantly? Aha, RKDK, fastest thinker here, of course. Then they have queen c5, defending that knight. And you can see that, for instance, if you play something like, I don't know, I can try something like rook a7. How would white defend in that case? Anyone? Aha, you can move the knight now, knight c8. I guess you could maybe also play rook d8, right? Rook d8, queen takes e7, and take on e8 and take on a7. 95, says Nicole. Oh, very good tactical vision, Nicole. Your move is probably better. I don't know, all kinds of crazy tactics here, but I think Nicole is right. Why not b4 on move 1 to beat rook f6 with queen c1? Good question. I don't have the answer. Let's check. Queen a7. If we go b4 on move 1, so that if rook f6, we can play queen c5. I have a theory. About that. Who said this, by the way? No, we don't care about the f2 pawn. I think the problem is that the knight is lost here, or it's not. If I now take, oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, I was thinking I could just take and play rook a7. But I guess the knight is, oh, I'm a bad learner now. I play Nicole's move here. Interesting. So probably we will have to take on f2 after all. Yeah, I agree. We probably take on f2. And then what do we do? Yeah, good point. But we don't win anymore, right, with black, do we? Anyone who can see these tactics correctly? I cannot really see them. Sorry, I'm not following the chat. Rook d8. There is not knight. No, then I take with the bishop. I see. Oh, I see. Somebody else said something else here. Instead of queen f2, we play h6. But if you play h6 here, they're going to play queen c5, right? Or how should I understand that? Or knight g6. Or here we can play knight g6 also. True. So I actually don't know. Yeah, you made me think here. I don't know. Maybe this is also, you can probably get half a point if you played b4. Rook takes f2. Yeah, rook takes f2. I think they can even play queen c5, right? Only bad thing about this is that I'm hanging a bunch of pawns also, but maybe we don't care about that if you play queen c5. b4, rook f7. Okay, let's come back. We will come to that, Shooting Stars. Rook f7 on move here, rook f7. Rook takes a6. Oh, I see. Yeah, you got it. Whoever said this. Very clever. Jazz, for instance. Aha, we cannot take because now black would take like that and mate us. Yeah, what a tricky position. So I think this is the answer. Yeah, I recently came across this position. I have not checked it very carefully. Do you agree, guys, or not so clear? Yeah, good question, Titan Chess. Rook f7 seems like the best move. Aha. Queen h4, rook f7, we have... Yeah, so queen h4 first, but it comes with another idea. Sui Randall will show you very soon. So queen h4, we are defending here, but there is actually a second idea also. Now rook f7, Sui, it's not making sense, right? Makes no sense to play like that, Sui. Are you there still? We can just take. Aha. And oh, sorry. And if you're bad with tactics, then, I mean, you're not, but if I'm bad with tactics, I could also play like this, like old and tired, no? I send my knight to the square on e5, things like that. So rook f6, hitting the knight, and look at the move that Sui found here, queen e4. Isn't that clever? Strange, no? Very strange, yeah, for sure. This is, I don't know even know the name of the tactic. I don't know what I would call it. It's not deflection because we're not deflecting anyone. It's not a counter threat because we're not overloaded. Yeah, maybe that's what you would call it. Very surprising move. And then I don't know what black would play. Yeah, not so clear, because next turn we can maybe save the knight, right? We can play something like knight c6. So yeah, they can play any move here, right? Move the rook somewhere and we can finally save our knight. So what's the Sui? I don't understand. Anyway, queen b4, some of you were saying. What might be the answer here? This is something I could play. I could also go, no, I can't go back with the rook. Queen takes f2 and king h1, and what do I do after that? I don't get it. Rook d8, wow, that's an amazing move, if that's the best move. But we all understand the idea, right? To give mate over here. But we're also weakening the last rank. Like if I play random move like, I don't know, h3 or something, what happens? Sorry guys, I'm slow with tactics. What happens here? King h1, oh, is that smarter? All right, king h1. I can't say this clearly. Are you sure this is a good move? Knight c6 instead of h3, knight c6. Wow, you guys are really good with tactics. Knight c6, and if rook takes d1, we can just take the queen. That's an interesting tactic. And if I take with the bishop, you're taking my rook. Yeah, interesting. So queen takes f2. Wow, I must say this is not easy to understand, all this. Now you take on d1. But wait here, didn't I get mated now or what? Somebody confused me here. I thought black is mating now, right? But when you said knight c6, I really thought it was a strong move. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. But any conclusion? We are confusing ourselves. Yeah, conclusion, this position is very complex. Knight g6. Okay, I only know I cannot take like that, I got mated. If I take like that, I get checked. If I take like this, we have queen h4. Oh, I think I understand. We defend, and then we take on d8. Was that the point? That's a very nice tactic. Yeah. Congratulations if you can see these things at the board. Yeah. Wow. I guess it's about looking at every move, right? I have this principle also. When multiple, I'll write it here for everyone if it's interesting. Maybe not. When multiple pieces or when pieces are hanging, unusual solutions are more likely. I'm going to come back to the chat, don't worry, to work, okay? This is my simple principle. When there are pieces hanging, strange things are more likely to work. Okay, Ians, you're saying something. Not working, knight c6. Is that what you're saying? Knight c6, king g8. Yeah, but in the worst case, I can maybe just come back with a knight, right? Or what? Or you're approaching me in this way then? Oh, I see. Makes sense, of course. So what happened then? What's the end to this strange story? Can't we put a knight on f4 maybe, or do I get deflected again? Anyone? Oh, yeah, somebody wrote this already here. Sorry, I'm very slow with reading the chat. Rook d8, rook f7 wins. Oh, okay. So we should come back. But congratulations to those of you who could see this fantastic move. Rook f7 wins. I see. We're back on the same page again. They cannot take because there is mate coming up. Wow, what a confusing example. Yeah, so anyway, we don't need to see all these details to understand something. But I think if you can find this move queen h4, intending queen e4, that's already a big step in the right direction, no? If you can see this. So extremely complex. Okay, should we look at something else? I wanted to show you one more thing. In this exact position, black played knight takes b3. Can anyone tell me an alternative to knight takes b3? Or that's like very evident that we should play that. I remind you how the story went. Takes, queen a7, okay? Quick quiz here to see if everybody learned. Let's see if everybody learned what we were saying. You'll get only 25 seconds now because we saw this already, right? Sui, Oski, Santos, Panda, RKDK, Jazz, not anyone you know, Freya, Sharat, Shooting Stars, Viz. Strange tactic. Not very common, this Queen E4 idea. So please go ahead, Shooting Stars. Show us, what was your solution here? First, we move away the queen. Okay, I'm waiting, shooting, but you're not producing any moves. Okay, I can ask somebody else. Sharat, you can show us, please. How did white continue here after queen a7? Queen h4 looks like we're defending the pawn. We are defending the pawn, but the idea is something. No problem. Water is health. Yeah, please continue drinking water. And the next move, this strange tactic. Yeah, we somehow restrict our move, queen takes e7, and we're ready to play knight c6 next turn. So back to our question here. I was asking, is this like the only thing we could do, or can anyone come up with some other idea? Can we do rook f6? Yeah, we are applying, but this is hanging, right? So you don't have so many choices, probably. Rook takes f2, it's probably not working in this particular position. I can take, and this is defended. So what about flexibility? Oh, Rohan wrote the move here, flexibility. What's flexibility about? Many things. Now, you can say one aspect of flexibility is to keep moves in the pocket, all right? Tricky also says that, exactly. So I think, Rohan, you said this first. Let's bring up Rohan. You can show us what you have noticed here. We're switching topic now for a short while. We're saying we could keep this in the pocket, okay. Can anyone tell me with words, tell me what black might gain from keeping knight takes b3 in the pocket, okay? What if you don't have pockets? Yeah, then you can't play flexible chess anymore. Exactly, RKDK. Extremely clever. The knight is still on the board. To understand this aspect of flexibility, you have to ask yourself, which of these two pieces is more useful right now? You would say the bishop is useful for attacking this pawn, not so much else, right? The knight has some further things it can do. Apart from taking the bishop, it's also taking this square. So now I know to wear jeans to every chess. Exactly. If you don't have pockets, I'm very sorry, Nicole, you can't keep any moves in the pocket. You will have to play them instantly. You have to play knight takes b3 here. All right, queen h4. Are you still there, Rohan? What happens next? Yeah, Rohan is extremely clever, since these guys are still on the board. What can black play now? Yeah, true chess players compare things, right? Compare things. What happened? What happened? We don't understand each other, Rohan. Why would you play like that? Now you lost the whole idea here. Anyone else? Hide them in the bathroom. Yeah, RKDK and Oski. Exactly, rook f6. That's it, right? I hope everybody can see what I mean. Since we kept this move in the pocket, we prevented queen e4. I think also we prevented queen d4, by the way. This is not making sense anymore. So maybe one conclusion from this is that we shouldn't be so fast with taking, because we could do that later, right? It depends a little on the position, right? Maybe if the pawn was on c3, white would play bishop c2, and it's a different story. But I think it's a typical mistake in practical play that we play captures, for instance, checks and captures. We play them too soon, and it's better to keep them, yeah, like I'm saying, in the pocket. So should we do this one also, maybe, just to make sure that everybody understands this? We'll do it right now. Yeah, I think that's enough. I don't think there is much more to talk about. So we'll do it here, okay? You get 20 seconds, and then we will continue. We have a lot of winners here. Santos and Sartak and Viz and Rohan and Dumb and Sharat and Sui, Flawless and RKDK, Grilled, Jazz, I don't have time to mention all of you. Young Jal, you're highest on the list here. Please go ahead, Young. How did you continue in this position? Did you take on b3? We can do that later. Nice. And now it's not so difficult anymore. But you have to agree that in this position, for Young, for instance, if you didn't know this position, you would be perhaps tempted to do something else. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Nice. Let's continue. We'll take our next example. Let's take something very fresh, very fresh. Let's do a trivia. Who is the current champion? I mean, in chess, of course. Champion of Germany? Anyone who's following chess news? Who is the current chess? Vincent Keymer. Aha, that's right, Vincent Keymer. Let's check one example that Vincent Keymer played. And we'll see if we can apply our idea on that game. Let's see. He played a very strong opponent, Bluebaum, the current European champion. They arrived at this position. So before we continue, anyone tell me what's going on here in this position? Can anyone give me say a few words? What is this about? Black King weak. I think that's the best way to summarize something. You're right. Black should be okay here. They have a decent piece configuration and so on. But the king is, of course, in danger. White has the bishop pair. It's true. The rook is in a strange position also. So all kinds of tactics can happen here. So if we apply this thinking to white, what is black? What if we ask the question, what's black about to do here? Sorry, what's black about to do? Anyone? What is white? So of course, Rohan and Pop Fisher and Sarat. Of course, knight e5 is coming. No, simple. What would you call it? Interception or blocking the rook and so on. And yeah, tricky position for Keymer, but interference. So you're right, Sarthak. That's the best word. So what did he play here, Keymer? He played a very nice move. He played, yeah, maybe you could have played bishop c3. I have not looked at this very carefully. Can I still play knight e5 maybe? Or no? You take and I take maybe. Forgive me if I'm blundering something, but it looks okay for black, right? You probably have to go back with the bishop, and I think black is okay. I can maybe bring the other rook and so on. The knight is still waiting to be used in this game. So you're right. Yeah, he played h4. Yes, you're right. Please don't look up the game because you will spoil the fun if you look up the game. So Keymer played very smart move here, h4. Played h4. So now comes the difficult question. This is a tricky exercise. We're playing with the black pieces. Before we do the quiz, I want to ask you, I don't get it. What don't you get? I don't understand. You're probably not talking about you're talking about the position. Yeah, there is a hidden point to this move, h4. Something's going on with this move. So first question, why did you play h4? Aha, you'll see. We can understand this, Sarat, in the following way. I will play the move a6. Yeah, I didn't go crazy. No, it does happen sometimes, but I didn't go crazy at this moment. I'm playing a6. I'm playing this only to see white's threat, okay? King g2, rook h1. Yeah, interesting plan, Happy Pawn. Maybe you could try that. Problem is I also have time, right? I have at least one tempo to play knight e5, for instance, right? But else you have a good pointer. Yeah, king g2, knight e5, rook h1, knight takes f3, I think, Happy Pawn. So that if you go h5, I have liberated this square from my king. We will come to knight e5 later. I want everybody to tell me what's white's threat here. Okay, I'll flip the board. What does white threaten here? Does somebody understand this example or not so much? We'll try. What is white threatening? So if you go h5, I think I can take on h5. If you play bishop f7, I will just take everything here. And I don't feel particularly worried in this position. Pawn Patrol says bishop c4 to go bishop d3. That's like a very nice plan. I can't tell you exactly what would happen. I suppose I can take on e1 and play knight e5, Pawn Patrol. But yeah, I think you're getting closer in a way, right? g4, h5. How can you play g4? I don't follow. This move is technically impossible. Bishop g5 to sack the exchange. Wow, I don't even understand. Oh, you're sacking the exchange on e5, you mean? Okay, I don't see the mate, so I'll play knight e5. Maybe you have some kind of long-term compensation here. Rook takes, bishop takes. What's happening next? This guy is hanging. No, bishop c4. Oh, I'm starting to understand now. Bishop d3 is coming. I have a square here, but it's not the safest square. Can I play maybe rook f8 tricky? And I hide with my king on this unusual square. Bishop d3. Well, it's probably going to be embarrassing now. I'm getting mated or something. Rook e3. Now he wants to check me here. But you're like playing for a draw or what, tricky? I play bishop d4 because I don't know what else to do. I don't know. It's tricky for me, this position. Yeah, maybe it's just a draw, right? I should probably stay away from this because of rook here, but I could maybe go back. But you're kind of close now. You're close in this position. I guess one way to understand this is that the knight is not playing. Rook e6, rook takes f2. Interesting. Maybe, yeah, maybe you can play like that. But there is a forced win here, all right? There is a forced win. I'm still waiting for you guys to tell me. There is a forced win after any random move. Let's see. Bishop takes, knight takes, g4. I'm sorry, Oski, but yeah, with g5. Yeah, I was just going to say that this is never a threat, right? Because I can always go there. So if you go g5 next turn, I can maybe take on. Can I take or no? Correct me, guys, if I'm hanging something. Oh, I did hang something. Bishop f7. Sorry about that. Yeah, you're right. Now I can't take that pawn. What can I play then? This is your threat, you're saying? Rook f8. That looks like candidate move for black. Yeah, I don't know. I think not anyone you know has found it, and Rohan also. I say not anyone. You can tell us then. Where is not anyone? Here. Please go ahead, not anyone. It seems you have understood what white was actually threatening. So this is very hard to see. Please go ahead, not anyone. What was the threat here? Rook e4. So in the first place, we were threatening just to take, right? I guess. But I think there is also a second threat, right? Oh, I should scroll down. Oh, other people found it first. Very sorry, very sorry. I cannot follow every message in the chat, especially when if you talk about other things. Another threat might be to take with the bishop, I suppose. And if rook takes, it's mate in one, right? So Flores and Sui saw this. Okay, congratulations to all of those of you who found the move rook e4. My question here, of course, will be what happens if I go knight e5. That's right. Okay, decay and Sui. Exactly. And now we understand perfectly why the move g4 was the move h4 was so important. Else I could just take on e6. While if I do that here, you have h5. I mean, Kramer is a very, very strong player, but I'm not convinced that he saw exactly all of these details. But he probably knew, or he certainly knew, that this move has to be useful in some way, right? Has to be useful. So a move like a6, it's just like you guys are saying. I think we should quiz this, right? I would like you to do this, just to make sure that we're all on the same page here. But I will only give you 20 seconds, okay? It's like a mate from the endgame studies, like every piece fulfills a function or something like that. I like this kind of mates, like economical mates. Oh, can you go h5 and move 2? Yeah, maybe. I didn't say that, but that might also work. Please go ahead, Titan Chess. You're on top of my screen. Show us, please. Rook e4, very sneaky move. Looks like black could just play knight e5. However, white has this beautiful mate coming up here. We don't care about the bishop. We care about creating this threat. I have a question, by the way, to Titan. If I play knight f6 instead, if I try to defend in that way, how will you continue here? The white knight was useless. Yeah, the knight was not very useful. Now we have a new mate coming up, right, Titan? Can you help us out with that? Or h5, very clever. If knight takes h5, can you see the mate? Beautiful mate, right? Oh, you played it like that. Interesting. That should also work, right? Yeah, it's not as clean as the other one, but you're winning, of course. You could also play it the other way if you wanted. If you want to mate me sooner, you could mate me if you switch them, right? If you switch them, or no? Yeah, rook g4. I must admit, I also find it more beautiful. Unusual mates, some kind of nice bishop pair coordination there. So, all right. Let's say I take with the king instead. So how does this story continue? Now you don't mate me anymore. You just get a big advantage. Aha, RKDK, you're right. Doesn't G4 still win? Maybe. You mean here in this position? I don't know. I think so, yeah. Looks like it's winning. Very hard to defend against this threat. I can't play like this, right, Sui? Is this very stupid? It is very stupid. Yeah, sorry, I'm hanging the bishop. I forgot about that. So I think you can play G4 also. Yeah, sure. If they take, Sui wanted to take like that, and I think it's mate coming up again, right, with bishop F7, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, G4 works also. No, but rook takes C6. That's what I was saying. I take, and I was going to do this, but that guy is hanging. So this is hopeless also, right? So nice. Yeah, that's probably even better then. Both moves seem to work. So in any case, I think we understand now what's going on here. Now, when white plays H4, it appears they have this threat and some kind of mating sequence coming up next. Not exactly easy to see this, but I think this was the game which actually decided who would become the German champion. I'm not sure. All right, guys, enough talking. Now you have to show me how this works, okay? You have to show me how we can refute this idea with the black pieces, okay? Let's see who can find this fastest. I'll give you 1 minute, okay? I can't give any hints. That cannot be good, RKDK. That cannot be good, but I'm not sure why. Yeah, and Panda and Freya, that's what happened in the game. Not anyone and Phineas and Happy Pawn. We will look into that. This example also, it came up like 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. So I haven't looked at it very carefully. Sui, again, striking. Fantastic work, Sui, that you could see this. I could give a hint, but then everybody will understand what this is about. So if I look at statistics, I can see which move is the most popular one. Aha. Wow, I got so many different moves. I guess that shows how difficult this is, right? Flawless fighter. Yeah, certainly flawless on this occasion. Great work, flawless. You also found it. You have to think about which is the biggest enemy. I have that question. Who is enemy number one for black here? What do you think? Apart from Vincent Kamer, I mean. The bishop on D2 and Sui. That's what I think also. Flawless. Show us, please. Oh, you should always have the questions since you have such a nice picture now. All right, flawless. Show us. Rook D8. Amazing. No, amazing move. How can we explain this? Well, just look at the following moves and you'll understand. If I now try to do my fancy mate, it will not work out, right? For that simple reason. And unfortunately, I cannot mate them anymore. Aha, nice, no? And yeah, black. Here I think black wins now. Here black wins. Of course, white is not forced to play this, but this is the critical variation for the human eye, right? So rook d8, we can look at all your other moves. I'm very happy to look at the other moves, but let's say for now, this is the best move. White will have to play something else. Yeah, let's check all the other moves. What's wrong with bishop e5? Looks wrong from here. Bishop takes h6. Let's say. Oh, I need to think. Well, I was going to say I take here and I take there, but Sartak is probably taking on. Oh, bishop d4. I just have to read the chat. Thanks, RKDK. You saw this game, Sui. Oh, then you have an advantage. Yeah. h5. I think even I understand this. Rook f5, rook d5, and rook takes d4. Correct? Whoever said this? Or no? German championship this year. German championship. This, I think, is what's gonna happen here. For those who said bishop e5. We don't need a mate if we can take an extra piece, right? That's enough. Aha. So, yeah, you see it's useful to check tournaments, no? Check tournaments and you will learn many things. Coming back now, king h5 was proposed by many of you. Okay, I'm trying to understand what was wrong with that. This looks like it could be a candidate move, although I don't know exactly what I'm doing after that. Yeah, king h5 is a weird move. I agree 100%, but I don't know exactly how to punish it though. Yeah, tricky situation. Rook e4 anyway, maybe. I don't know. Does it mean anything to play that? I'm hoping that maybe by accident we can enter the the solution. I think I'm actually threatening to take and play Rook f5 now in that case. And you play knight e5. This feels like we have seen it before. I can't go for like the same mates. If I go g4 here, this just has to be good for white, no? Or no? Oh, knight e takes g4. Okay, I'm taking. And oh, you're taking this guy later. Wow, this is beyond my understanding. I'm very sorry. This goes beyond my understanding. King takes h4. I'm unable to mate you here. Wait a little here. If I check you and I check you again, isn't this like close to mate? This is basically mate, right? You would have to go back, but that must be risky, no? To say the least. Flores Fighter says this is maybe working. Okay, I put my bishop somewhere and then I do this to you. Or I cannot do that. Yeah, sorry guys, but this has to be winning somehow, right? Bishop e7. Yeah, I guess they will play king g6 then. And if you do this, this is complete mayhem. It's almost like the other position now. Yeah, not clear, right? Black survived, I think, in this case. Can we go back? Sure, we can go back again. But we should solve this. No, we should solve this. What happens if king h5? Everybody feel free to participate. I was just saying this move because I saw the game, right? You should go bishop d8 at the end. Rook f5. Not here, right? Rook f5, I think. Oh, how do you mean? Bishop f4. Rook f5 here. And if I take, what happens next? This I'll play like that, right? Why is this? Why? Yeah, I know, tricky. You said this. But why is this good for white? I don't understand. Why would I trade off? Bishop d8 and black is stuck. I don't feel like I'm stuck. Can I play like that and take here? Or I don't buy that story. Sorry, Flawless. I would like to continue looking at rook e4. I feel like we were very close in the previous variation. Knight e5 you were saying here. I think this has to be winning. Yeah, it can't be that different. No, but okay, there is no can and can't. You have to simply calculate. What did we do last time? We played g4. Yeah, that felt like it was very close. Bishop g5 looks like it could be a good move somewhere, right? But not here because this is hanging. Still g4. All right, we'll continue. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel this has to be winning. What did we look at last time? Knight takes d4, we were saying, right? So this knight needs to keep that square protected. Bishop takes, knight takes. Yeah, we're back in the same variation again. I think we were so close to winning. We should just make sure that we finish the work, right? Over here. Bishop g5, and the king had to go back. Yeah, if this is not winning, come on, it would be crazy, no? If this was not winning. So bishop f4 check. Isn't this simply winning like that? And we take this guy in the end, right? Or it's not that simple. No, it's not that simple because this is also hanging, right? Or no? No, wait a little. We're mating them in the end, right? Anyone, isn't this winning? We take like this, we check them here, and we mate them down. I probably missed a few things on the way, but this looks to me like we're mating them. Bishop f4, king g6. Sui says bishop e3 simply. Bishop f4, king g6. But I'm playing rook. Oh, I see. Rook check, and you go here. And when I cash in the end, you play rook e1. But your bishop is hanging in that line, whoever is saying this. We will come to Sui. We'll come to Sui. I just wanted to say that if I take, and I take again, and you check me, and I go up, you need to take now, right? Oh, I see. You take and you hit me with the king, and I don't have any. Oh, I'm very unfortunate here. I can't cook up any discovery. Black is suddenly better in the endgame. Yeah, this would be very hard. Yeah. Okay, Sui has found this, so we will listen to Sui. Sui got everything right today, so they will get it right here also. Bishop e3 check is the best move. I guess Sui's point is that we stop rook e1 in the end, right? King h4, Sui, and now bishop d8 wins the rook. Wow. Sorry, it was that simple, really. But not the whole rook, right? Or what did I miss? We don't win the whole rook here. Maybe you don't win anything at all. Right? So don't be too confident. Or What do you think? Chess is difficult for all of us. Back to Sui. So rook here, king there, bishop check, king back, bishop e3. By the way, very rewarding to do this without the chess engine, right? Try to analyze without the chess engine. Then you can turn it on in the end. We are waiting Sui after king h4. Knight e2. Wow. Just amazing. We all understand, Sui, what you have in mind. If I take, you're mating me in 2 moves, right? This has to be the idea. Everybody is following Sui's idea. Knight check and rook h5, I suppose. That's extremely smart. Yeah, future grandmaster Sui random, that's for sure. Knight e2. But it's also very logical, right? The only piece which was not playing. Yeah, nothing we can do to destroy Sui's idea? I don't think so, no? This is not legal. We cannot stop knight f3. g6, oh, to stop this move. But it's simple logic that if white can bring a knight to the battle just for free like that, this has to amount to something. This must mean something, right? Some kind of beautiful mate here. Just says knight h2. In this, no, not in this position, I think. Yeah, so it was a word of recognition. Not here, of course. Yeah, I understand. Knight g5 is like extremely close to mating. Knight g5, rook f3. Knight g5 and rook f3. Sarthak has woken up also. Rook f3, threatening mate on h3. Yeah, if black can survive this, yeah, congratulations, no? If you can survive this with black. I think you found something, Sarthak, yeah. Great job by Sarthak and also Sui and everyone else who helped in figuring out this variation. I think it's completely impossible to do this over the board, but what we should do here, we should learn from Sui that we should always think about bringing in all the pieces. Back to the beginning. So h4, what a clever move, setting up this idea with the mating nut. Black should have played the move rook a8, right? So that we are ready to meet rook e4 with knight e5. In the game, Bluebaum was not able to see all these complexities, which I can certainly understand. He played in the game knight e5, all right? And let's do the quiz now. But since you are fast learners, this should be possible for you without much difficulty. I'll play like what happened in the game, okay? We will play like in the game and you will end up winning, all right? There you go. Chess Crusher, that's badly timed now. I'm taking with check, so there is no mate in that position, unfortunately. RKDK, yeah, I guess I go king f6, RKDK and Yegna. No, I go king f6 and I take on e6. Well, you probably don't let me, but anyway. Who got closest here? Nobody gets beyond move 3. Flawless fighter, you have played like Vincent Kamer. Congratulations. You could also become German champion one day if you change nationality, right? Okay. All right, we had several winners. Flawless, Rohan, Tricky, and Sui. Please go ahead, Tricky. You have seen what happened in the game. Time was too less. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but it's simply a matter of trying to fit in more examples. Oh, sorry, I picked the wrong student because some people are raising their hands. Please go ahead, Tricky. Now we're ready. Rook takes e5. After bishop takes, Vincent Kamer unleashed his plan, g4, threatening mate in 1. Black had to play here the very strange move, bishop f4. Interference, that's what I think somebody told me today to say. Bishop f4, we renew the threat, but this time it's not mate. Yeah, those of you who played here, what else did you play? h5. I suppose this is what black was trying to play, and you're probably still winning now. You can probably play like that also, and you move the bishop somewhere, and you're winning, taking here next turn. But he must have thought this was less technical than the other variation, right? What about bishop takes f4 and move 3? You mean here? Bishop takes f4. So if I take on e6, you go h5 and you take... But this is... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's okay also to play like that. Yeah. Maybe he didn't like this, the nature of this position. I don't know. Yeah, looks like you're winning if you go back with the bishop next turn, right? I think so. It's just a matter of what's more practical, right? Maybe he felt that if I play like this, they play, let's say, rook d8, and they get some counterplay. Well, probably not. Oh, bishop e3 is even better, of course. Yeah, bishop e3 is simpler. I see what you mean. Yeah, so you can definitely get half a point if you play that. But I think what the tricky played was simpler. No, rook takes f4, and they took, and the rest was easy. Yeah. So you can take, no, you can only take one of the rooks. Yeah, if you go for the other rook, I suppose black can play king f6. So he just went for the other rook, and then he took the rook, and he was winning here, right? So yeah, that's how the game continued, and he became the champion. What a complex example. No, what a complex example. Many things going on here. I can't exactly tell you what's the main takeaway from this example, but one of them should be that yeah, when the king is exposed and so on, we can try to find some kind of mating idea. And with the black pieces, please remember what we talked about. If white is actually about to mate us, it might be a good idea to eliminate that bishop, which is very annoying in this position, right? I'm just doing the quiz again to make sure we're on the same page, okay? Very quickly, here we go. Yeah, please don't play 95. That's a misunderstanding. You're playing in my hands then, right? I'll carry out this idea that we talked about. Take on e5 and play g4. Yeah, by now you're bored with this idea, but I like it. Okay, Oski, please go ahead, show us quickly, Oski, how did you continue here? Subtle move. You will, of course, ask yourself, oh, sorry, I gave you the wrong color. Yeah, please go ahead. Subtle move, and you could ask yourself what happens if they play something else, if they move the bishop somewhere, like that, for instance. Yeah, what can happen? I guess maybe now you can play it anyway. No, you can't play it now. Yeah, interesting. I'm actually not so sure what would be the consequence if you play this. Maybe you can play 95 anyway. Is this crazy? I play it anyway. And rook takes and bishop takes. Maybe, no? And they can cash in, but I also take. And I never get mated if the bishop is not around. Maybe, no, that could be the answer. So rook d8, that was the smartest move. We get ready to counter sacrifice after rook e4. Please continue, Oski. Aha, and I cannot carry out my beautiful idea anymore because the bishop is hanging. But that's hard to see. Yeah, hard exercise, very difficult. Let's take something simpler, all right? Let's take something simpler. Let's go to South America. Let's see this interesting battle between two grandmasters, Flores with white and Felgaer with the black pieces. White at this stage played the move bishop e2, okay? They played bishop e2. Look carefully, please. White's last move in this game was bishop e2. Question, why did they play bishop e2? Anyone? Of course, Rohan, you're right. They wanted to stop e2. And now, next question. Do they have any further intention? Well, that's what you have to figure out. Let's see if I can get this right. I'll give you 1 minute. Try to identify the threat and take measures against it. Very careful, now very careful. There are many pitfalls here. Also, don't be scared of queen g8 or rook g8. Your king can then run up now. That's not the main danger in this position. Something else is the big danger here. So, reasonable move, Anushka, but you have missed my threat. Sorry to say that. I have something going on there. Exactly with that piece that you're trying to trade off. I'm trying to do something. Luca, the same goes for you. No, sorry, that's a different situation. You can't play that, anyone, Luca and Sarthak. I check you and I take your rook with the queen, right? Rohan, congratulations. We have a winner. And if you play like that, Santos, Flawless, and Oski, I'm bringing my rook to the action, okay? That's the key here, of course, in this position. You would say, apart from the knight on a3, the piece that white would really like to improve is this one. So we had 3 winners here, Rohan, RKDK, and Alan. All right, Alan, you have not been participating lately, so I'm very happy to invite you. Let me see, where is Alan? Here. Please go ahead, Alan. What was your move here? Very nice move, rook b6. Why do we play that? Because white's main threat here was probably to play rook f1. Please notice, speaking of flexibility, how white keeps this check in the pocket now until a later moment. They don't rush to play this move because the king will escape, right? But they can play it later at a specific moment. Like, for instance, those of you who played rook b7, this was not a good idea, right? Oh, you thought the threat was rook c7? I don't think so, because in that case I can go queen e1, right? Or am I missing something? If you play rook c7 now, if I play, let's say, a5, just to see what's going on. Rook c7, I think I can give check on e1. And you're ill-advised to play bishop f1 now, right? And if you play this, I could make a draw, but if I want to play for a win, I could consider also bishop e5. Exactly, Sui. I think I can pick up both rooks here, funnily enough. So that's probably not a threat. So if you said this to stop that, it's funny now because you're actually stopping something else, Alan, in this variation. So I'll give you a new chance, Alan. After rook f1, rook f6 was the idea. And in this way, we are ready to trade off. And probably we can still save this position. Now, yeah, how would you take back? Maybe you could take with the queen on this occasion. I don't know. Funny material situation, by the way. White has an extra piece, but black has a bunch of pawns, right? 3 pawns or 4 pawns. So it's about equal material. Yeah, threat is certainly not bishop h5 because then I have e2. So I hope we... Oh, Sui is saying something. Please, Sui. I don't follow completely. Some other move. Rook c1, somebody was saying. Rook c8, you were saying. But then you can see what white... Exactly. Flores is the author of the Chess Structures book. Yeah, very good book. Rook f1, exactly. This looks like white has a strong attack, and black cannot really defend this in a good way because there is always this move in some situation, right? Like this, and you take and you pick up and so on. You said bishop h5, rook c7 was a threat, but there is still... Yeah, rook c7 can never be a threat. Sorry to insist, but the only time rook c7 is a threat, you know when? Because what happened in the game. Because Felgaer unfortunately played bishop f6 in this position. This was not a good idea. In this way, he stopped rook f1. But I think everybody now, you can do 2 + 2, and you know what white played, right? I'll give you only 10 seconds. Aha, that Apple, Pop Fisher, Anushka, or KDK. So many winners, although I only gave you 10 seconds. Perfect. Smart thinking, no? You try to see what happens on the board, right? The bishop left the building. This means that we can play Lily. Please go ahead, Lily. Why is everybody raising their hands? Lily, all right. Show us, please. Rook c7. Now we play it because if they check us on the first rank, Lily, you have everything under control. Since the bishop left, there is no... I hope you calculated this, Lily. Else you're playing like Russian roulette. Exactly. Now there is no e2 anymore. So that's what happened in the game. The black was unable to defend against the mate because if I go rook e7, Lily, that's exactly. Russian roulette is like a game where you don't know if the bullet will hit you or not. Yeah, you can Google it and you'll figure out. It's like risking a lot now. Risking, anything could happen and so on. So yeah, entertaining exercise now. Bishop e2, you're preventing this and you have a few different ideas. Mainly this one. This could be played at some occasion. Black's only chance here was to play. Aha, you got it. Okay, we will quiz you on this again so that everybody gets a chance to show what they have just learned here. All right, I'll give you only 20 seconds. Okay, perfect. We got many winners here. One of them is I Love Panda. Please go ahead, Panda. How did you continue here with the black pieces? Rook b6. Very hard to see that move, at least unless you have seen that white was about to play Rook f1, exactly. You can, of course, also look into what happens if white plays something like rook check and so on. But supposedly black is surviving in these lines, no? This can even be risky for white, I think, unless I'm missing something. But black has some counter threats on this side and so on. So maybe not so clear what's going on in this position. The king is finding a safer soil on the queen side, it seems. So let's continue. Let's take another example. I think some of you saw this example, right? You must have seen this. It was played recently at the, what's the name of this tournament? Chessable Masters, I think, right? No, Champions Chess Tour. Sorry. Did you see this game? Did you see this game? Anyone? Or no? Nobody saw this game, perhaps. Okay, perfect. So, anyone, can you guess what Magnus Carlsen played here? What would you play with white? Reasonable move with white, anyone? Oh, but I'm not saying some kind of combination, bishop takes h6. That's a little too soon, right? If you play that here and you play queen h5, I'm probably playing king g7. But if you think in the other way around, whoever said this, who said this, bishop takes? Yeah, too many comments. Dash Boyer. Dash, if you're thinking about this, what if you keep it in the pocket? If you play queen h5, I can physically not play king g7, right? So Tricky also says queen h5. Sacrifice flew, exactly. You can sacrifice later, but it's better if you prepare it. So Carlsen certainly played queen h5. I think on this occasion, it's not so difficult to see the threats. Not ask yourself the question. It's very easy to see what Magnus Carlsen wants to do here. The big question, of course, is what to do against it. So just for fun, tell me 3 candidate moves for black. I'm just curious about which moves you can see here. Queen e8 could be one move, right? If you put the queen here, and then you can maybe move the pawn in some direction. f6 is another move. You could maybe combine it with Tricky's idea, right? Bishop takes, and then you could play queen e8 or something like that. Don't forget that black is up a pawn right now, no? It's 8 pawns versus 7, so black is probably okay to give back the pawn. Knight b3 could be a candidate, although a little greedy now. It's like saying, I don't believe in your attack. Then you should probably check bishop takes h6 carefully. King h7, it could be a candidate move like for 1 second until we notice that we just helped them to bring another attacker to the position. Rook g8. I think that was a joke, right, from Jazz. Else you're a genius if that were the best move. Okay, enough talking. Let's see who can pick between all these moves that you were saying. Try to get the move order right, and you will be able to defend against Magnus Carlsen in this position. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute and 10 seconds. All right, Run Ninja and Oski and Kamarov, I might change my mind. I might not sacrifice anymore, right? If you play that move. I might consider to work on the g6 weakness. Maybe I can take on d5 and I play knight f4. Message for Run Ninja, Oski, Kamarov, Phineas, and Anushka. I'll probably trade and I'll play knight f4, hitting you on d5 and threatening the fork on g6, right? The same for you, Panda. Tricky Windmill, congratulations, we have a winner. Perfect. Sarthak, Jongjiao, Dash, Yegna, and Flawless, you get half a point. There is a tiny tactical difference there. Okay, I think we only have one winner, but I'm always happy when we have at least one winner. In this case, it's Tricky who found the solution. Please go ahead, Tricky. You would be able to defend against Magnus Carlsen here with Queen e8. So let's check the main line first. Of course, everybody's asking, what do I do against bishop takes h6? If I take the... Yeah, please, sorry, Tricky, I was just going to say that. This is probably very dangerous for black, right? Maybe that is, I don't know, bishop e4 coming and so on. You will have to play f5. Yeah, I haven't calculated this really, exactly what would happen. But this is also hanging for the record now. And maybe you can bring in more friends to the party and so on. Yeah, looks like this is going in the wrong direction for black, right? So what Tricky is saying that we should play here. Please continue, Tricky. Yeah, now we can look at it. So f6 is the move. We are trying to trade off the queens. White's queen cannot move back because then the bishop is probably hanging. They will have to take. We will come to that. Flawless fighter. Please notice flawless. There is always a difference, all right? I will try something here on Tricky. I will play knight takes d5. Let's see how Tricky defends here. In this, it's not very difficult though, Tricky. It's not very difficult. So don't, yeah, you take back. Unfortunately for me, I would have to go back with the bishop now. I'll put my bishop somewhere like bishop e3. And you would play something like c6, exactly. Strange pawn structure, no? You can see that there was some kind of migration with the pawns in this position. White is maybe a little better, I don't know. But it's fully fightable, though, this position. Now maybe you can send a knight and start pushing the pawns. Aha, that's right, Tricky. That's exactly how it goes. Now let's presume that we play f5. Okay, thanks, Tricky. So I could play in exactly the same way, right? Queen takes, rook takes, knight takes, pawn takes. Please notice the difference. In Tricky's variation, we had this position, right? You see the difference? The pawn is on f6. Whereas now we have, oh, sorry. What did I do? I forgot to take. Yeah, we have that position now. We want the pawn tension, but not only that, Titan. It's about something else. Now white wins a pawn here, I think. Anyone, how could white win a pawn in this position? Not very difficult, no. I think. Aha, we can play bishop d2. Or you could also take first, I think. Maybe, no. Maybe you could take first. I don't know. Is this too clever? And then you go back? I think this also works, right? And you hit them a little here and you hit them a little there. Knight b3, I can probably take on c6. And I think it's a happy ending here for white, right? After bishop takes. Or no? Looks like it, no?